Hi, I'm Lance Lambert. Thanks for tuning in to the Vintage Vehicle Show. We are in Spanaway, Washington at the Louiefest Car Show. This is a great car show. As the name might imply, this has a lot to do with the song Louie Louie. The show is not only put on by the Wailers, one of the best renditions of Louie Louie ever done was by the fabulous Wailers out of the Pacific Northwest. And also today they are going to try to set the record for the number of people that play Louie Louie at the same time. Well, we're going to take a look at some of the cars that are here at the Louiefest Car Show, meet some nice people, get to know their cars a little bit more, and maybe hear a lot of great Wailers music. So you know what I tell you every week, just kick back, relax, and enjoy the show. I attend probably 50 car shows a year approximately, and if I am in the Northwest, I go to a car show, I always see this truck, this beautiful 1958 Ford pickup truck owned by Mr. Bill Doucette. Mr. Doucette, tell us all about your truck.
You're right, it is a 1958 F100. It's been in the family all of its life. My father-in-law purchased this brand new, and I'm the second owner of it.
The rumor is that you met a young lady and grew rather fond of her, and in the process of that relationship growing, you ran across this truck that belonged to her father, and then I think it sort of gets into the realm of perhaps exaggeration that yeah, you can marry my daughter, but you got to take the truck too. Is that true?
Yes, correct, and it worked out quite well for both pieces of the vehicle and the wife. We're all together still.
And I know Mrs. Doucette, and she looks as good as the truck, so.
A little wax on both, they last forever.
So tell us about, what's it like going to all these shows for all these years with a pickup truck as opposed to driving around in a hot rod car?
You don't quite get the notoriety of the hot rod cars, but a lot of people obviously grew up with these pickups and they enjoy seeing them around, and most of them were farm vehicles, but I get a lot of people just enjoy looking at it and what I've done to it, and it's a fun truck to take. Enjoy it.
If you had this all to do again and you ran across a 58 Ford truck, would you just duplicate what you did here, or would you do anything differently?
I'd keep it the way it is. This one I have to, because it was part of the family. It was stock, so I have to leave it the way it is. I think the wife in 37 years would be gone if I didn't leave it the way it is. So we're just going to leave it like it is. But if I were to do another one, which I am now, I'm doing a Lincoln right now that I'm hot rodding that if I ever get it back. But
it's one of those that'll be done in 6 months, and now it's 3 years later.
It's going to be done Tuesday.
Yeah.
I don't know what Tuesday, but Tuesday.
Mr. Doucette, you are famous for showing up at car shows anywhere from, 1 in the afternoon to 3.
Well, I just can't get my money's worth. I don't want to stay that long, so I just like to show up when I want to be on my schedule.
And one thing I've learned from going to car shows, that if you walk up to this truck and open up the bed cover, there's always food and liquid in the back.
It's always well supplied, because I know people like yourself that just need a little refreshment once in a while.
Well, I need a little refreshment right now, so thank you, Bill.
You're welcome, Lance.
All right.
Thank you.
When you're going around to car shows, you'll notice the same cars winning over and over and over because they deserve it. Somebody builds a new car, it hits the car scene, and everybody just falls in love with the car. Well, Mr. Bill Spagnoli, your 39 Chevrolet seems to fall into that category.
Yeah, it does.
This is very, very pretty.
Yeah, it's a sunlit orange pearl. And the good news is it's an all-steel car, and it has a number of modifications to it that are pretty unique.
If I had to pick a car in the greater Seattle area, maybe the top 5 cars or maybe even the top 3 or 4, I think this would be one of them. This is just such a spectacular creation that you've ended up with here.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, it seems to be a winner. I just spent a week at Hot August Nights, and it won Best of Show at Hot August Nights. So, and they're using it next year in their magazine, so that's quite an honor.
That's about the highest award that you can win, is winning at the Hot August Nights?
Yes, I would say so. At Reno Hilton, Best of Show. Yeah, that's a pretty high award. 5,500 cars.
What's the running gear?
Ford, 9-inch narrowed rear end with 350 gears in it. And a transmission is a 700 R4.
And the motor?
It is a 502 Chevy, fuel injected.
I talked to somebody that went on a trip with you, and everybody in the car was asleep. And you were driving across the desert in the Las Vegas, Reno, somewhere in that area, and the person telling me the story woke up and they looked at the speedometer and you were doing 140 miles an hour. Do you confirm or deny that?
I'd confirm that. Yeah, I was. It's about 148 miles an hour.
How's it handled at 148?
Straight as an arrow. We made it from the Reno Hilton to the pepper mill in 4 minutes and 25 seconds.
So it has good brakes too.
It did that day.
Thank you, Bill.
Okay.
I like trucks. I like trucks a lot, and you don't see 1939 Ford trucks very often with this front end on it. So Tom Ropke, I love your truck, but tell us about the grill on this.
Well, it's the original grill. It was on the truck when I bought it, of course, and those grills do come chromed. Unfortunately, I don't have one of them, and I talked to a plater about getting the grill chromed, and they wouldn't even quote me a price, so I figured it was more than I can afford.
Or they're afraid of what would happen when they dip it in the tank?
Well, no, he just said that the buffing was what was going to be the killer, you know, because that's where all the time is.
Yeah, all those little places in between there. So a lot of fun cars here, but not that many trucks here. Do you find going to car shows, do you like being around a lot of cars, or do you find that there seems to be more interest and more desire to have trucks at car shows these days?
There doesn't seem to be a lot of trucks. Obviously, cars must be more popular for street roders, maybe because there's more of them. You know, you tend to see a lot of Model Ts and Model A trucks, but guys my size can't drive them. There's no leg room in them.
Tell some of the specifics about this truck.
It's a small block 350. It's got a 350 tranny. It's got an 8-inch Ford rear end. Pretty standard street rod stuff. It's got a posy slide front end with a 4-inch dropped axle, Magnum dropped axle. And that's about it. I mean, there's nothing glamorous about it. It's just a street rod pickup.
So does it ride around on a trailer, or do you actually drive it here?
No, we drive it everywhere. In fact, this truck's been all the way to Yellowstone Park.
Ran fine?
Yeah.
Do you get many, say, some older guys that, oh wow, I used to have one of those on the farm?
Everybody's got a story, you know. Yeah, you know, they always say, oh, my dad used to have one, or my uncle used to have one, and that's nice. I mean, that's what these things are for, is for, you know, to people bring up their memories.
And you know, when I refer to older guys, that means guys 5 years older than us.
Yeah, or younger.
Where do you think the hobby's going? I mean, we're all aging, we're getting older, and these cars are, you know, where are they going to be 20 years from now, do you think?
Well, that's what I kind of wonder about that, if there's going to be a market, because the younger kids you see coming to car shows are all driving the tuners, you know, and the lowriders and stuff, and you know, they've got there's no nostalgia for them in these kind of rigs. So I don't know, maybe 20 years from now they'll be a dime a dozen, who knows?
Yeah. Or if I manage to live another 30 or 40 years, and 15 or 20 years, I can start picking these up for prices I can afford.
20 years, I won't care.
Well, Tom, I'm going to give you a call in 20 years and see if I can pick this up for next to nothing. So thanks for being on the Vintage Vehicle Show.
Thank you for having me.
Jeff Hoffman, you have a absolutely gorgeous 1970 Plymouth Superbird. Tell us all about this car.
This car's got 28,000 original miles, Lance. It's never been restored. Little touch up on the front end from rock chips. Other than that, and the wheels, even though I do have the original wheels at home, kind of dressed it up a little bit this way. Two-owner car, totally bone stock. Yeah, pretty nice car.
I see you at a lot of shows, and you don't trailer this car, you drive it.
This car is driven to most of the local shows. If some of the out-of-state cars or out-of-state shows, we trailer it, but for the most part, yeah, it's driven show to show.
The viewers, most of them know the whole story on the wing on the back of these, but why don't you tell some of the viewers that don't know how that great big wing ended up being on the back of these Superbirds?
Well, it's made for NASCAR, and it was the first car to break 200 mile an hour at NASCAR, and the height of it didn't really make the car. It was just kind of an accident in order for the truck to open. A lot of people don't know that, so that's why it's on there.
But they didn't have them originally, and they weren't performing that well, correct?
Right.
And then they put that wing on there, and all of a sudden they performed real well.
Too well. They actually outlawed them in '71, so that's why they kind of went away. One-year car. Well, actually, they made Daytona in '69, so that they ran that car, and then in '70 they outlawed them. They won lots of races.
I didn't know about the trunk, that being so high so the trunk could open up. I also heard stories, and of course this has drastically changed, especially financially, that dealers at one time couldn't sell them, and they actually took those off, filled it in, repainted over the tops of them, and all those people are real sorry they did that now, probably, because that adds so much value to these cars. And this is the type of car you see at Barrett-Jackson that gets huge money.
Yeah, it's crazy. You could actually buy this car. There's stories that you could buy this car in 1973, brand new, for $2,500, blowout prices, never been titled. I mean, brand new car for $2,500, and they couldn't sell.
Well, you're obviously a Mopar lover. Is this a long line of Chrysler products that you've owned over the years, or is this your first one?
No, actually, I've owned quite a few Mopars. I have 2 more of these at home. I have a Hemi car, and then I also have another yellow car like this. So lots of Mopars.
What could be better than a red Corvette, a red Corvette with the roof off of it. This is a fantastic car, Louie and Kathy Brown. And Louie, you are here at the Louiefest, so this was obviously named after you?
It wasn't quite. I was named after it.
I see you brought a guitar with you, so you're going to participate in the Louie.
Yep. And I had Wolfman Jack sign it, and I had Leon Hendricks sign it. So now I got a cheap guitar that's maybe a collectible.
To go with a very expensive Corvette.
Yeah, it is. That's for sure.
You mentioned that you just finished this yesterday?
Well, I actually finished it last week, but I hung the mirror on it yesterday and done a few little odds and ends under the hood. So maybe yesterday was the final day.
So what'd you start with, and how long did it take you to get to this?
It's been 4 months, 8 or 40 hours a week. You know, it's been a full-time job on this thing, and just about $60,000 in receipts. But you know, and it's worth it.
The engine on this is?
383, balanced blueprinted. I had Tacoma Engineering build out. It's got a 700 R4 polished housing, real sweet. I set it up with line locks, new rear end. Everything's completely new. New frame, powder coated frame, and off restoration. Started from the bottom and worked up. That's why there's a little bit of swirls in it. Can't get no wax on it yet, but I put 6 painted. You know, the old days you put 10 coats of clear on if you wanted some real shine. Nowadays it's all high yield clear, and I still got 6 coats of clear on it. Painted it with 3 coats and waited a week and wet sanded it and put another 3 coats on it. So I got a little to play with.
Yeah, well, it looks good. You mentioned to me earlier that you and Kathy have been together for 26 years. And Kathy, I'm going to get a little personal here. Are you madly in love with this guy, or do you just like his Corvette? Your Corvette, I guess.
I just love it all.
What's the most fun thing about having a red Corvette?
Just showing off driving it.
And driving.
Good.
Yeah, it feels good. It's a very comfortable car.
She has an
Yes.
86 Corvette.
Yeah.
A red one too.
Thank you very much for being on the Vintage Vehicle Show, and
pleasure.
and I've got to get some kind of lotion or something for my eyes because this pain is hurting. Thank
Feels
you.
good to me.
Thank you. We have had a fantastic time here at Louiefest in Spanaway, Washington. A lot of great cars, a lot of great people, a lot of great music. So we hope you enjoyed the show, and if you liked it, tune in again next week. See you then. Bye-bye.